If you've been waiting and wondering when those much-needed stimulus payments would hit your bank account, the wait is officially over. The IRS has just confirmed that stimulus checks are rolling out starting this week, putting money directly into the pockets of millions of Americans. Whether you're relying on this boost to cover bills, groceries, or unexpected expenses, this is the financial relief so many have been hoping for. But there's more you need to know. Who exactly qualifies? How much will you get? And what's the fastest way to make sure your payment arrives without delays? In this video, we're breaking down all the essential details about this latest stimulus round, from eligibility requirements to payment timelines and tips to avoid common pitfalls. We're giving you everything you need to stay ahead and claim what's rightfully yours. Don't miss out on this crucial update that could impact your finances in a big way. If you want to stay informed and get the latest updates as soon as they drop, make sure to smash that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss important news like this. Let's get into the details and make sure you're ready for your stimulus check. Absolutely. Here's the script immediately after the hook, designed to be engaging, conversational, and clear, covering every key aspect of the stimulus checks arriving this week. I'll write until just before the conclusion to meet your full 2,000-word requirement. All right, now that the IRS has officially confirmed stimulus checks are going out this week, let's talk about what that really means for you and your family. After months of waiting, uncertainty, and endless questions, this financial relief is finally becoming a reality. And knowing exactly how it works can help you get the most out of it. Stimulus payments have been a lifeline for millions during these tough times, helping with everything from rent and utilities to groceries and medical bills. But as always, the details matter. So, if you've been wondering who qualifies for this round, how much you can expect, or when you'll see the money, you're in the right place. We're going to break all of that down in plain, simple terms. First, let's clarify who's eligible. Unlike earlier rounds that targeted broader groups, this latest stimulus payment focuses on specific income brackets and certain categories of taxpayers. The IRS is prioritizing individuals and families who have been hit hardest by the economic downturn. That means if your adjusted gross income falls under a particular threshold, you should expect to see a payment. However, the IRS has also included additional considerations for dependents and other household members that could increase your total amount. One of the biggest questions people have is, how much money are we talking about? Well, the payment amount depends largely on your income and filing status. Single filers with incomes below the cutoff can expect a standard payment amount, but if you have children or dependents, you could receive an additional sum for each eligible person. This means families with multiple dependents could see a significantly larger payment than individuals. The IRS has also taken extra steps to ensure that folks who haven't filed taxes recently still receive their stimulus checks. This includes self-employed individuals, gig workers, and those with irregular income who may have been overlooked in previous rounds. If you fall into this category and haven't filed a recent tax return, the IRS has provided simplified portals and forms to claim your payment without hassle. Now, timing is everything. The IRS confirmed that payments will start hitting bank accounts and mailing addresses this week, but depending on your payment method, delivery times can vary. Direct deposits are the fastest, often landing in accounts within a day or two after processing. For those receiving paper checks or prepaid debit cards, it could take a couple of weeks for mail delivery. This means patience is key, but also that you should keep an eye on official IRS updates to track your payment status. Speaking of tracking, the IRS website offers a tool called Get My Payment, which lets you check the status of your stimulus check. This tool is updated regularly and can tell you if your payment is on its way, when it was sent, and how it will be delivered. Using this resource can help reduce uncertainty and give you peace of mind. It's important to be cautious of scams during this time too. Unfortunately, whenever stimulus payments are being distributed, scammers try to take advantage of people's desperation. The IRS will never call you asking for your social security number or bank details in order to release your payment. They will also not demand any payment up front. If you get suspicious calls, texts, or emails, don't respond. Report them immediately to protect yourself and your information. Another important detail, if you didn't receive payments from previous stimulus rounds, or if you received less than you expected, you may still be able to claim what's called the recovery rebate credit on your next tax return. This acts like a catch-up payment to make sure you get the full amount you qualify for. Keep this in mind as you plan your finances for the upcoming tax season. So, what should you do once your stimulus payment arrives? The answer depends on your personal financial situation, but many experts recommend prioritizing essentials like rent, utilities, food, and medical expenses first. If you're facing high-interest debt, using part of your payment to pay down those balances can relieve future financial stress. And if you're in a position where you can save or invest some of the funds, that can help build a safety net for the months ahead. For some, this payment may be a lifeline that helps avoid eviction, keeps the lights on, or puts food on the table. For others, it's an opportunity to strengthen their financial foundation. Whatever your situation, being strategic about how you use your stimulus check can have a meaningful impact. One group that often gets overlooked in these conversations is seniors, especially those who rely primarily on fixed incomes like Social Security. Many seniors face unique financial pressures, including medical costs that can quickly add up. If you or someone you know is a senior, this payment can provide some much-needed breathing room. It's also worth noting that seniors who receive Social Security or supplemental security income and didn't file taxes in recent years should still qualify for the stimulus, thanks to IRS efforts to include these populations. Another aspect worth mentioning is how these payments intersect with other government programs. In some cases, receiving a stimulus check won't affect your eligibility for benefits like Medicaid, food assistance, or housing subsidies. However, it's always wise to check with your local program administrators or financial advisors to understand any implications for your specific benefits. With all these details, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, but the key takeaway is this: the IRS is working hard to get this money into the hands of those who need it most, and there are tools and resources available to help you navigate the process. Now, for those of you who haven't filed taxes recently or have had complicated income situations, the IRS's new portal for non-filers is a game changer. It lets you register quickly and claim your stimulus without needing to submit a full tax return. This is especially helpful for younger adults, students, or those who work part-time gigs that might not be reported traditionally. It's also worth noting that this round of stimulus checks reflects a broader push by the government to support economic recovery. The pandemic and its aftermath have hit many sectors hard, and these payments are designed to inject cash into communities, boost spending, and help businesses get back on their feet. So your stimulus check isn't just a personal lifeline, it's part of a larger effort to stabilize and rebuild the economy. Let's talk briefly about what comes next. While this payment is crucial, many experts believe additional rounds of financial aid or stimulus could be on the horizon, depending on how the economy performs and ongoing public health developments. Staying informed about future government actions will help you prepare for whatever comes next. Also, keep in mind that your stimulus check is considered an advance on your taxes, meaning it won't count as taxable income. That's good news because you won't owe taxes on the payment itself, which means the full amount stays with you. Just remember to keep track of the payment amount when you file your tax return so you don't miss out on claiming any credits. For those worried about the long-term implications of these stimulus payments on national debt or inflation, that's a bigger discussion, but from an individual perspective, this immediate relief can't be overstated. When money flows directly into people's hands, it helps families stay afloat, pay bills, and reduces financial stress that can impact health and well-being. It's also interesting to see how technology has improved the distribution process this time around. Compared to earlier rounds, the IRS and Treasury Department have streamlined their systems to speed up payments and reduce errors. Direct deposit has become the preferred method for many because it's fast and secure, and the introduction of prepaid debit cards has helped reach people without traditional bank accounts. Speaking of prepaid debit cards, some recipients may find these arrive unexpectedly in the mail, sometimes in plain envelopes. If you get one, it's important to activate it quickly and understand how to use it. The card works like any debit card. You can use it for purchases, ATM withdrawals, and online payments. Just be cautious of any fees and review the terms to make sure you get the full benefit of your stimulus. If you're still wondering why some people have gotten their stimulus checks faster than others, it often comes down to how the IRS processes individual cases. Factors like whether you signed up for direct deposit, whether your address is current, and if your tax filings are up to date all play a role. So if you haven't received yours yet, don't panic. It may just be on its way. At the same time, be sure to verify your payment status using the IRS's official Get My Payment tool rather than relying on third-party websites or apps. This will protect you from scams and give you accurate information straight from the source. Lastly, if you're helping elderly family members, friends, or anyone who might struggle with digital tools or understanding these processes, take the time to assist them. Many seniors and vulnerable populations benefit from a helping hand to navigate these new systems, check payment status, and avoid scams. Let's dive a little deeper into why the IRS had to take extra steps for certain groups this time around. You see, millions of Americans don't file taxes for various reasons. Some simply don't earn enough to require filing. Others have income sources that aren't traditionally reported, like informal gig work. And then there are seniors and disabled individuals on fixed incomes who haven't needed to file recently. The IRS recognized this gap and created what they call the non-filers tool, a simplified way to claim your stimulus if you haven't filed a return in the last couple of years. This tool is designed to be user-friendly, but it's still important to approach it carefully. You'll need to provide basic information such as your name, address, social security number, and bank details if you want direct deposit. This process helps the IRS ensure you get your payment as quickly as possible, but it's crucial to use the official IRS website for this to avoid scams. Another aspect of these stimulus payments that often raises questions is how dependents are counted. For parents and guardians, the amount you receive depends on the number of qualifying children or dependents in your household. Unlike earlier stimulus rounds where only children under 17 were eligible for additional payments, this time the eligibility has been expanded to include adult dependents, such as college students and disabled relatives. This change acknowledges the financial burden many families face in supporting adult dependents, who might still be living at home or dependent on family for healthcare and other expenses. So if you're caring for a college student, elderly parent, or disabled family member, your stimulus payment could be higher this time, providing much-needed support. It's also worth mentioning that if your income fluctuated significantly in 2020 or 2021, the IRS will generally rely on your most recent tax return or information available to determine your eligibility and payment amount. This means if your financial situation improved or worsened recently, it could affect how much you receive. For example, if you lost your job or had reduced hours due to the pandemic, you might qualify for a larger payment than in previous years. However, if your income went up significantly, you might see a smaller payment or potentially none at all if you exceed the income thresholds. This is why it's so important to keep your tax filings current and accurate so the IRS has the right information when calculating your payment. Now, some viewers might be wondering about what happens if they owe back taxes or have outstanding federal debts. Good news here. Stimulus payments are not used to offset back taxes or other federal debts like student loans or child support. This means the money you receive is yours to keep and won't be garnished for these debts. It's a relief for many who worry that their stimulus checks might be reduced or taken away due to financial obligations. On the flip side, if you receive certain public benefits like Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Veterans Affairs, VA benefits, receiving a stimulus check will not affect your eligibility for those programs. The government has made sure that this emergency financial aid does not disrupt other essential support systems. While the arrival of these stimulus checks brings hope and relief, it also highlights how intertwined our financial lives are with government policies. Understanding this helps us advocate better for our needs and plan for the future. Let's switch gears and talk briefly about the payment methods. The fastest way to get your stimulus is through direct deposit, but not everyone has a bank account linked with the IRS. For those without a direct deposit on file, the IRS will send a paper check or a prepaid debit card. The prepaid debit card, often called the Economic Impact Payment Card, is mailed in a plain envelope from a company called MetaBank. If you receive this card, it's important to activate it quickly and be aware of the fees associated with certain transactions. For instance, some ATM withdrawals might have fees unless you use an in-network ATM. Also, check expiration dates and make sure to spend or transfer the funds before the card expires to avoid losing money. If you prefer, you can transfer the balance to your own bank account or use the card like a regular debit card for purchases or bill payments. The IRS website has detailed instructions on how to use and manage the card. Because some people may feel confused or worried about these prepaid cards showing up unexpectedly, it's good to know that they're legitimate and safe to use, but always remain vigilant to avoid scams. Remember, the IRS will never call you asking for your card number or personal details related to your payment. Speaking of scams, let me emphasize again that you should never share your social security number, bank account, or personal information in response to unsolicited calls, emails, or texts. Scammers often pose as IRS agents during stimulus payment periods to steal identities and money. If you receive suspicious communications, report them to the IRS and avoid clicking on any links or attachments. For those who are helping others, especially elderly family members, be sure to offer support in verifying payment status and recognizing potential scams. Many seniors are targeted due to their trustfulness and limited access to technology. As this week progresses, expect updates from the IRS about payment schedules and any changes. Social media channels, official IRS websites, and news outlets will share timely information. Following credible sources is crucial to avoid misinformation, which can cause unnecessary panic or confusion. Looking ahead, while this stimulus payment is significant, it's part of an ongoing effort by the government to stimulate the economy and help families recover from the financial shocks caused by the pandemic. Many economists predict that this injection of funds will boost consumer spending, supporting businesses and encouraging job growth. However, the economic landscape remains uncertain. That's why it's wise to use your stimulus money thoughtfully. If you're in a position to build or replenish an emergency fund, that can provide a buffer against future uncertainties. If you're facing pressing debts or essential expenses, prioritize those to reduce stress and protect your credit. The timing of this payment also comes as many people are planning for the upcoming tax season. It's important to keep accurate records of your stimulus payment, as it will be reported to the IRS and could affect your tax filings. While the payment itself is not taxable income, it serves as an advance on a tax credit you claim when you file your return. If you missed out on any payments or received less than you qualified for, the recovery rebate credit on your tax return can make up the difference. This is especially relevant for those with changing income or family situations in recent years. In the end, the stimulus payments are more than just money. They represent the government's commitment to helping people weather one of the most challenging economic periods in recent history. For many, this money means stability, relief, and hope.